Welcome to Enlightened Masculinity, where we talk about masculine subjects in masculine ways, and that includes everything and anything. So I'm one of your hosts, Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, and I travel the world teaching my brand of yoga. It's all about communication and communicating the limbs of yoga. And also, I have many podcasts, books, and a PhD also, but that's in the normal universities, just to show you all that I can read books just as well as you guys can. And I have a co-host. This show has a co-host. His name is Akash Inti. Katakam. He's from New Jersey, and he is also a registered yoga teacher. He's a biotech research analyst for some very, very big companies, and he gives them, advice on where they should be putting their money. So welcome to the show, Akash Inti. What's going on with you, man? Haven't seen you in a few days now.
Yogi Chris, I am at the pinnacle of existence right now, yet at the same time in a pit of despair. It has been an absolutely incredible past couple of days, just coming back from the Cosmic Code Convention. I truly felt something sparked within me that was just like, it was like we took a flint and whatever the other thing that works with flints to spark and light a fire. And I just feel my soul on fire right now. And Chris, there was so many incredible things that happened at the event itself. That being said, some of the pictures that I have of you, there's this one picture that I have of you in Brian Casella's mansion. And it's like, you see the ceiling is it's painted blue, like sky blue. You have clouds going on. You have two pillars on the sides. And then you got a bunch of guys, you got the film equipment ongoing. And it's you and you're very regal, yoga, posture. And it says, "Your thoughts matter. Yogi Chris, PhD." And I was just like, whoa, the scene is just absolutely iconic. And there were so many things that happened at the event itself that were iconic. I really do think that we broke into a new layer of consciousness and whatnot. And bringing together all of these different individuals was absolutely incredibly insane. So I am still on that fire, on that high, if you will, of just enjoying and really relishing and everything that had happened. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm super, super excited to get into this today. Kind of talking a little bit about maybe why we went, in some senses, recapping it, because as you talked about just prior to this, the reason we started the Enlightened Masculinity podcast was from the last, the Cosmic Code or the Evolution of Consciousness convention. So it's really cool to kind of have this be a landmark in our podcast itself, but also in just a way of catching up with each other and see what we really took away from it. So
I'm having an idea of when you're talking. And by the way, yeah, it's easy to hear in your language. You definitely leveled up. And anybody that studies me, Ace here, you can hear it in his language whoa, let's call it season 2. Guys, this is episode 1 of season 2, Enlightened Masculinity, because let's face it, we're on a different level. It's a different level of consciousness, different level of expression and connecting with the world through our human superpower, AKA communication. So yeah, why I went to the Cosmic Code Convention, the Cosmic Code was similar to Evolution of Consciousness, similar speakers, similar location. It was in Hollywood, California. And, but, so it's similar. So it's, even though it has a different name, this convention for me, it was all about checking in. My teachers are here at this event. My main teacher, Arash Sapar was at this event. And I'm also me personally, I'm on a different level where they had me speaking. They being Vince Kelvin. He was on the show the other day. He'll be back. And also one of my main teachers, main influences, Vince Hollywood, Aphrodite's Prince Kelvin. And the man's communication is anyway, long story short, I am a speaker at this event. He gives... So going into the event, before anything had started happening, I had recently done these incredible $25,000 training events with AZD. And I knew this would be a testing ground amongst my peers, my brethren, and Hollywood in general. I mean, I've been to Hollywood, 24 times or something in the last 5 years. People know me almost, or there's almost a homeliness vibe, which is a really, really cool reference. Just a little takeaway, and then I pass it over to you. It's a really cool vibe of, oh, what does it feel like when I go to a new place 24 times? At what point does it not become new anymore? And can I not carry that vibe of it being familiar into genuinely new places? It's just a vibe. Because I've had amnesia before from concussions. you can be around totally familiar things and just act puzzled. And you can also be around maybe puzzling things and act usual. I like that. I like controlling that. So I'll hand it back over to you. That was like my main why. I think it's just a testing grounds, checking in with all of my peers and Hollywood in general. It's easy to see growth. I think that's how I see it.
Yeah. It's incredible. I see we're getting some echo on Instagram, so I'm going to drop from Instagram actually.
Oh, no. They love you here on Instagram. Don't do that.
Oh, I know. But that means that's why they have to get on the Zoom.
He says you got to get on Zoom. If you're on right now, go to the link in my bio, come to the actual podcast. If you want to, see and hear Akash talk.
It seems like Vince may join us for the second half an hour, by the way.
Oh.
Which will be interesting in and of itself. That being said, though, one of the interesting things about this in and of itself was the diversity, not only of speakers that we had. I mean, we had 12 speakers. We had a yogi. We had Vince Kelvin, a pickup artist, the founder of this. We had a Rosh Zapar, Divazar, absolutely master seduction and communicator. We had Catherine Allman, Tantrika. We had James Hyman, the shaman. Frank White, the dark sorcerer. Brian Casella, the real estate mogul. And the list goes on. And it was just Joe Nicasio, the marketing wizard. It was just incredible to have so many different perspectives in the room at the same time, talking about very similar things. The porn producer, Tony Dillinger, Hypnotica, a strip club owner and seduction artist as well. So just so cool to see all of these different perspectives. Not only that, we did so many different activities. We were going hiking at the Griffith Observatory.
Gosh, let me ask you, what were you bringing to the event? I told you mine. I want you to share too. What did you bring? Why did you come? Where did you come from in your mind, your mindset?
So to me, I've been studying under Vince Kelvin for probably the past 2 years now. And it's been incredible, the amount of growth that I've seen within myself, particularly in my communication. I've seen myself just grow into like being me more and being like totally cool with it and like embracing it and being like, this is who I am. Yeah. I'm loving it, like falling in love with myself in such a deep way. And that's probably the biggest thing that I had gone and sought from this event, was just breaking through even further and deeper, falling deeper and like falling in love with myself even deeper. And I found that these events, particularly the way they're structured, enables myself, but any individual who really attends to shake themselves up and really fundamentally shake them at their core to see, are they really being who they are, or are they buying into something false? So that was really the big reason for me, was to get that core shake, if you will, of like, are you really being you or not? And
did you get that? How shooken? What's the past tense? I don't know. How shaken up did you achieve? What level? Level 97 or what do you think? You don't have to.
I think I'm probably like level like 69 right now.
Yeah.
Like slowly making my way up, but still gotta like give myself some room to grow.
Sure.
But loving it. I absolutely I brought my kimono there, and I've just embraced the like being who I am. And like these are all ideas that I've seen within my life, and one of the probably the craziest thing was that I saw my future life, and I saw that I'm living backwards in it. I'm living backwards in time forward, if that makes sense.
Of course.
And so it was incredible to like experience this and to see everything that was ongoing, to be able to share all of this experience with fellow brothers, seeing where they're at in terms of their growth and evolution. I mean, some of the guys from the Evolution of Consciousness conference had come this time around, and it was incredible to see some of their growth. Like some of these guys, like they just wouldn't talk to people beforehand. I was seeing them do car pickup, for example, just like rolling down their window, asking a girl in the car next over, and she's like, "Hey, like I just thought you were super cute. I had to say hello." I was like, "Whoa, this guy would have never said this last time," So it's cool to see like this kind of growth in others and share it with brothers, So incredible.
Yeah, I see the incredibleness in it. Well, so where do we go from here? Breakthroughs? Do we just go right into breakthroughs and start giving some lessons of what you took away from it, or how do you want to transition?
Yeah, Yogi Chris, I would love to. I think our listeners would really, really benefit from some of the small things that you had shared, like a couple, maybe one or two things that you had shared at the convention itself.
I don't
Um,
even know. I
because
don't even know.
it was incredible to see your speaking style. I mean,
That's what
like,
it is.
I've seen you progress, so even over these 6 months, and
And tell me,
it,
because it's a lot of video for you. And what's the
yeah,
difference in person? Please give me some contrast, some words to describe the contrast.
it
Some
was in,
laid
it
back.
was in, it was incredible. I mean, so one of the things that you did was so in as we were hiking up, we did like a military style hike up towards the Griffith Observatory, and
Right.
just before that, you would run us through a couple stretching exercises and such, just at the base of the mountain, and there was some magic that you had said in those words, in the sense of
Right.
really just getting people to connect with themselves and unlock things within themselves. Um,
I
I,
agree. That's
I,
why it's hard to reproduce, because it was magical. The spells were in the moment, but the feeling and the impression remains, like Play-Doh almost.
mhm.
And I'm curious what, when you say breakthroughs, anything in particular come to your mind?
Oh man, it's again, it's not at this particular moment. I remember it like so vividly, in the moment itself. I would say that what I remember was one of the exercises that you had done with us was, um, you had asked us, as you typically do with all of your teachings, is what do you want to accomplish um, in this particular session, or what are your goals, if you will. Um, if I remember correctly, one of mine was to break free a little bit more, um, to be more open, like with myself and such, and just as we were doing some of the exercise, it was really like a throat chakra kind of opening. You
Mm.
led us through some of these exercises, not only with like, I remember one of the guys asked like, what do you do for your thyroid, for example? And you gave us a whole two or three little things that you could do to open the thyroid, and the reason as to what it helps regulate, along with why someone might want to do this. But it was cool to see something like this. Like really, I think that was one of the big themes, at least of the weekend, at least that I had taken away from you particularly, was the opening of that throat chakra. And I've seen it from you itself. Like I still, like, I vividly remember seeing you speaking at Brian Casella's mansion, just in the front of the room with like, there was a glass right behind you. It literally looks like the heavens were opening, and out of the heavens came Yogi Chris speaking truth. This was like the experience that I had, just being in the background, and the way that you were delivering your message was just so sharp. You were speaking to each individual and picking up the little threads that they'd given you throughout the weekend and speaking to them in those particular moments, and using your hand gestures to speak directly to them, and that they knew that you were speaking to them in those moments. It was incredible to see just that level that I've seen you like progress to in this regard. So that's why it just amps me and juices me to see like, to give like thank you and to give like praise to my teachers who've done so much work and have achieved this level. I mean, I see this as like one of the big breakthrough. I mean, we did the board breaking exercise as well, where we literally had a breakthrough, and I think there was many breakthroughs that were had, for each of the guys, but also for each of the teachers themselves. So those were a couple of my big takeaways, and particularly as it relates to you. So
Yeah, and let me speak on that for a moment. Is really astute of you, and that's the check-in that I'm talking about. The confirmation from outside, because I'm with my communication every day as you are with yours, and so you fail to see the change unless it's like you learn a new technique, and then like maybe you see an immediate like a leap in your effectiveness. But generally, you're just kind of slowly growing. But when you come around people that you've known in the past and situations and environments, like I was saying, Hollywood, there's really, it's like a litmus test of your growth, if that makes sense. It doesn't, because litmus test teaches something else, or measures something else. But it's like every year summer I'd go to grandma's and she'd measure my height on the wall, and because it was the same wall, you could easily see that I had grown, but didn't see it because I was with me every day. So it's really astute what you're saying. And what's so cool is as you describe it, as you recall it, this is like one of the reasons I love questions so much. As if there was an art of playing a guitar, there's an art of asking a question. As if there's like an art to dancing, there's an art to asking a question. It is as if there was an art of singing, there's an art to asking a question. And by asking you those questions and you willing to answer, you described what you admired about my communication or whatever. And in describing it, you had to embody it, because that's the word you process. And if you're a true, like you're saying, like true, honest person, authentic communicator, deep resonance from within, from the core of your being, are you communicating? Even if you're flirting or saying something that's slightly not what you're implying communication, can you genuinely imply? And, you know, that congruency. So I ask you some questions. You admire some things about what you saw and experienced from me. And in describing it, you recall and, you know, you remake the experience in you. You become the thing you're recalling, because the recollection is in you anyway. So it was already in you. And so you actually become more of that thing that you're admiring by talking about it. And I just did that with you. And that's what's so beautiful. I did it. I used the admiration you had for me, not to, I mean, yeah, I love being admired. Like, I'm not no ego here. I have great, that's great. But I used that energy to go back at you. And so you leveled up again. Why? For my selfish altruism, because the better you are, the better I am. We collaborate. We're both co-students of the similar teachers. Like, it's my interest, my brother, you know? And so versus just taking that energy and saying, thanks, see you later, bye, kind of with it. That's energy. That's, I love that. And my research is a lot on the energy carried by words and gestures. And that's what I love. Join the silent flute. That was a cool process. Join the silent flute if you want to learn the technicalities. I want to hand it back over to Akash. What's, where would we go from here? You just talked about a realization. Where would you want to take it from here?
Yeah, one of the big things that actually I learned at the conference itself, and this actually left me in tears. This was on this was on Saturday night. We had gone to Bar Sinister. So for those of you who don't know, Bar Sinister is a very famous Hollywood club. It's also a fetish bar. So it shook me in a lot of ways, because I've never been to this type of bar, or I've never had that type of experience. It's also very like heavy in the metal scene, if you will, and I've just never been in that scene before. Anyways, it really stirred me in many of ways, and I remember I was crying that night. The reason I was crying was this concept of it came down to a concept of communication, where people are trying. This was something I had felt, was I was experiencing that I'm trying to understand you so deeply, but I don't have the capacity to do so. And it left me in this place of just like a deep sadness of like, I'm trying so hard to understand you, but I can't. I'm trying my best.
And that's talking about the other girl? You're trying to understand the girl, you're saying?
It could be a girl, but it was more a human being, any human being. It's like
every human being there, you were trying to understand and you couldn't do it. And so you.
Right. It's like it comes to a bigger concept of like, so each of us have our own experiences in life. And as we go through life, we are experiencing what we're experiencing. Every single person is this consciousness and seeing the world through their glasses, if you will, or through their lenses.
Sure. We're getting all metaphysical, everybody here. Buckle up for this spiritual ride you're about to go on from. Here we go.
But you can't ever experience the same experience that someone else is having. You can never have the exact same experience as them.
Sure, I get.
Why? Because we have different lenses and perspectives. Okay. And so when we're trying to understand someone, we're really trying to get at like seeing the world through their eyes.
Yes, and feeling and all the senses, hearing.
That's exactly it. Yeah. But we can't. And there's a deep sadness to that, because you're trying to understand someone. You're trying to connect with them and see, I use the word see, but experience, see, feel, hear, touch, taste. But you can't. And we try to relate with each other.
Why do you want to do that?
I mean, I think, why? It's
why do you want to experience their experience?
It's sharing with others.
Oh, so you like the sharing, or do you like the understanding?
I mean, I think it's sharing understanding.
Well, if you both have the same understanding, there's no reason to share. the sharing is in the difference. You got to fall in love with learning about people versus knowing people.
Perhaps. I don't know. What had come up to me was like, really the big experience. Like I remember I was at the end of the night in the Roosevelt with AZD and the students, the Knights of the Round Table, if you will.
Yeah, that was dope.
It was absolutely dope.
I'm going to put out a product, actually. I got all these roundtable recordings, but like he used to have a program called Roundtable. This is different. This is like at live events, we sit around a table. And
yeah.
I have like 10 or 12 of these like hour and a half audio recordings. Like, I just want to put it together. I just wanted to throw that in there. So, but you're saying that it's, it's a deep sadness because you don't understand other people, because you can never understand other people. But
I'm trying my best.
Why? Why do you want to understand them?
I think it's the connection aspects to it. I'll feel connected when someone like gets me on that level. Does that make sense?
Well, can I be honest with you, even if I don't think you'll like it?
Yeah, I appreciate. That's what I look for, actually. That's what I seek.
Well, it's going to be an endless source of suffering if your deepest want is for another person to get you. And they're never going to get you, man. I couldn't get you. You're you. I'm me. You know how I know I couldn't get you? Because who the fuck is going to get me? Like, how much are you going to get? I change. I evolve. So that means I need you to have rapid updates, like a fucking iPhone, of every time I change my view on something. No, I got to keep communicating. And then how fast can you get my new state of being? Well, that's cool. You can, the communication is the relationship. I see the balance that you're talking about. If we got to always communicate about everything, I need to live. I need my business, other relationships, this and that. I can't always just be in communication with you. But at the same time, I like the rapport and the comfort that come from deeply understanding each other's position right now. And, the relationship, this balance between, we only have so much time together. Some of it I want to be chilling, doing nothing per se, just being with each other. And this other part where I want to be learning about you. And so at some point you'll get to know the person so well, you predict their movement, you fucking understand their neural responses to stimuli, that you'll then want to take them into the world with you on a date. And well, fuck if you fucking understand what the fuck they're going to do in new unpredictable situations. You'll never fucking get the entire other person. You'd have to live their entire life to get them. And they don't even get them. Like, come on. So that's my honest view on that. So there's this balance between the richness of getting to know someone and the savoriness of just getting to be with someone because you get them so much already.
The last thing that I want to, just before we close up, because I think we're just around the half-hour mark, is the shamanic breathing experience that we had. I don't know if you had participated or not, but that was really, really breakthrough. And it's something.
Yeah. Where did you break through to?
Yeah, it was the listening of sound. More than anything, what I experienced was the voice that we carry, or that people speak with, particularly the men in the room, was like, the way that I hear the sound is like, it doesn't matter what I'm saying, the words that I'm saying, it's the way that I'm saying. And so like the sounds that I'm making, and it's like, I could be making those types of sounds, but you can still get a sense of what am I trying to convey. And it was incredible that while we were going through that shamanic breathing experience, one of the things that we do is you take in a lot of breath, and you're breathing into your mouth the whole time. And then there comes a point where it's just kind of, you just kind of start making sounds. And this is where I really felt like I tapped into my core self, and that core sound of who am I was incredible. And hearing the sounds from each of the other gentlemen who were in the room was just incredible to see how were they relating with the world.
Yes.
I didn't need to hear the words that they were saying, but I was able to understand the concepts that were being conveyed. Oh my goodness.
That's so precious. It's like you feel as if the humanness in you is also their humanness. They have a humanness just like you're having this deep human experience. The ability to consciously intervene on your breathing. I mean, how many animals do that? Maybe they take a sigh to like release the tension, but we're like 100 breaths of consciously I'm doing something that my body doesn't really want to do. And so it's this like override, this conscious override of the body. So you can take yourself deep, and then you're around in a room with a community, a spiritual community of people that they're going deep too. And you can hear the quality of their breath or their voice. You know, if you were in a regular yoga room, you know, if you hear other people breathing, if it's a quiet yoga room, you are having a similar spiritual experience with them. That is like because their mindset comes through in how they're breathing. Where's the tension? How deep is it? Is there grunting involved? Like you can, on a deeper level when you teach, you hear even deeper layers. And that's so cool. So you had that experience. Man, as you're talking, I was recalling, I think this might be where I got the practice, because I have this practice that I share that it's like it's not deep, fast breathing while you're driving because you get this head rush. But over long periods of time, I've been able to like kind of create that physiological response that you get with that hyperventilating. And if you're on the highway driving, you can scream and yell. And so you can really recreate some of that spiritual experience, but while doing the seemingly mundane human experience of driving. You don't have to, you know, it's a trip. Because anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
Yogi Chris, I think we start closing up the episode over here. On my end, the thing that I want to share is that you guys are interested. We're doing Sunset Club this coming Sunday. We will be watching at Eagle Rock Reservation in West Orange, New Jersey. You got a panoramic view of New York City in the background, and it's one of my favorite things in the world. I bring together some of the most beautiful people, beautiful minds, strong and wise, and they all come together and experience the sunset together and just appreciate the small little beauties in life to allow it to propel them forward into their everyday life. Yogi Chris, turn it over to you.
That really needs to become like a whole regional thing, you know, because this podcast is global. So when we're talking New Jersey, it's not just the local people there in New Jersey. Like this is a multi-day retreat in the next coming 6 to 12 months that you come from the city to see this. You don't have to go too far. You don't have to go all the way to India. You just go down the street to your friendly neighborhood mountain park and, you know, look at the sunset from an incredible view that's been scouted out for you with some incredible emotional alchemy, which if you don't know what that means, I mean, hit up Akash Inti. You know, it's just some really powerful, you know, internal emotional release. Let's not call it work. Fuck work. It's emotional relaxation. How do you relax the tension? And so Akash is an expert at that. So that's what it's building up into. And right? Something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yogi Chris, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. I mean, I know you have this event in Albuquerque upcoming in the next week or so.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, people, if you follow me, go to ninthland.com, check out the calendar. Albuquerque's coming up, Pittsburgh after that, you know.
Nice.
The new offerings are centered around intelligent vinyasa. That's a really fun one. Vinyasa is a yoga term, so if you guys don't know that, that's the yoga term. But yoga is the yoga term, right? Because yoga Sanskrit, so right? And what's that other offering that's really popular? Hacking the human body. You know, biohacking. That's a really good one. So I teach biohacking actually really effectively in my online program. So if anybody's interested in performance enhancement, you know, hacking your neurology, some of your memories, and you know, feeling a deeper sense of freedom and control over yourself, then hit me up. Go to ninthland.com, Silent Flute program.
And I can vouch for that. I've been one of Yogi Chris's apprentices, and it's been absolutely life-changing. I cannot recommend this program more. So to any of you and I'm a yoga teacher. It's like I went through the whole training and whatnot. It's just the way that you communicate these things, and it's your study of communication that's really taking it out of the park. So
yeah,
we leave it here, Yogi Chris.
Hell yeah. Well, if you catch us on iTunes, leave us a review, and we'll see you in the next episode right now with coming up in a minute with Vince Kelvin. Blessings.
Namaste.